Okay, so first things first, starting off by priming and covering the natural pigment on my lids. And I'm doing so by applying some of Benefit's Stay Don't Stray primer. And this one is in the shade Medium Deep. And simply applying a little bit of that onto the lids and then going in with my clean ring finger in order to blend it all out nice and evenly. Okay, so now getting started with the actual palette, I'm going to begin by using the shade Golden Ochre and grabbing it with my large shader brush. This one is my E60 from Sigma, and just simply applying a layer of that onto the entire eye from lash line to brow, like everything. And this is going to give me a nice even canvas. I liked this color because it was nice and light, but still somewhat warm, and so it gave me a nice color to start off with. Moving on to the color Burnt Orange, I'm grabbing that using my Sigma E40 tapered blending brush and simply starting off by applying it on the outer portion of my eye, so like the outer V area, and then dragging that color in circular and windshield wiping motions into my crease. So this will also serve as somewhat of a transition shade since this brush covers quite a big range. So this will serve as that, and it'll also start to really warm up the eye because the look that I'm going for is going to be very warm since this palette is just full of beautiful warm shades. And just simply building that intensity of the color up by going back into the palette just a couple of times. Next from the palette comes the shade Realgar, I believe. I'm simply grabbing that with the exact same brush that I grabbed the previous color, so my tapered blending, and applying it the exact same way that I did my previous color. So starting off at the outer V and then with windshield circular motions, buffing that color into my crease. And just like I did with the previous color, I went back a couple of times to really build up that color intensity and really let that color come through and warm up the eye. The next shade that I'm working with is Red Ochre, and I'm grabbing this with my Sigma blending brush. This one is my E25, and I'm simply going to be applying it by patting it onto the eye where I like it or where I want it, and then, which is for me here, the outer V portion. That is where I really wanted to build that color intensity up. And then I'm going to drag whatever's left over on the brush into my crease just a little bit in order to just give it a little bit more definition and more depth. And then I went back with my initial brush without adding any additional product to it in order to blend everything nicely together and to eliminate any lines that may have been left behind. And then going back into the palette, but this time grabbing Cypress Umber with my E25 brush, which is the one that I used in my previous step, and just dabbing it onto the outer V. All of these colors, all of these shades, all of these shadows are like so intensely pigmented that just a little bit of this really came through for me, and I really liked the way that it applied. And then I grabbed the shade Primavera with my index finger and simply started to apply that onto the mobile lid area. But I made sure to stop right at the crease and also to stop at the outer V, right before the outer V. I didn't want to cover up any of the depth that I had added onto the outer V and onto the outer crease portion of the eye, and so that is why I stopped there. And then of course going back with my E25 blending brush without adding any additional product in order to blend all of the edges away. For liner, I'm going to be using my current favorite, which is the Maybelline Eye Studio Black is Black Gel Liner. And I'm going to be applying that with my Sigma E06 Winged Liner Brush, which is the tiniest, most precise brush that I own. And I'm going to be giving myself a pretty elongated wing, but it's going to be more on the thinner side than the thicker side because I didn't want the wing to overshadow anything that was going on my lid already, but I still wanted it to stand out. For lashes today, I'm going to be using my featherettes from the House of Lashes, which I felt were the most flattering for this look. Next, I'm going to be applying the shade Red Ochre onto my bottom lash line. So grabbing that shade with my flat definer brush from Sigma, this is the E15, it's just a flat brush, in order to be more precise along the lower lash line. And I'm simply applying it by patting it onto the entire lower lash line. And then grabbing the shade Burnt Orange with the smaller side of the brush that came with the palette in order to diffuse the entire lower lash line. To finish off the eye look, I'm grabbing some mascara and applying that onto the top lashes and to the bottom lashes. Of course, the tops helps to blend my false lashes with my real lashes, and for the bottom, I really wanted the lower lashes to stand out as well. And that completes the eye look. Thank you all so much for watching. I truly hope that you enjoyed this video as much as I enjoy making these for you. Stay tuned for more looks using this modern Renaissance palette. As always, take care, and I will see you all in my next video.